Hello, hello. I wanted to step in tonight and just share some new conscious awareness. I watched the new Jurassic Kingdom World, whatever it is, the new one, tonight, and it was kind of beautiful. And I always feel that there's codes in certain things that bring new awareness. And it's beautiful, and it's needed, and it's coming on fast and strong right now. So I always speak from my personal experience, what I observe, what I see, what is in my heart. And I've interacted with a whole bunch of people over the week. There's a conscious circle I attend on Fridays. There's been a lot of people that wanted to connect with me and have exchanges in different ways. And some of those exchanges can be quite intense and direct. And I'm just beginning to see it all now. So as we proceed through our awakening and become more and more conscious, we have to go through different levels. So some of the early levels is struggle, is frustration, and fighting against things that are dark or attacking you or other things. And then as you move through that and you get more awareness, you start to realize that some of these things have purposes and they shake you up. The darkness, or what we call darkness, is sometimes things we've contracted with to bring us to our bottom, bring us to our knees, so that we smash open and start to explore higher awareness, less societal conditioning, less trauma, less old control and compliance, and moving more and more into self-awareness and choosing self-choice. And as we progress past that, we start to see underneath the systems, the rules, the beliefs, the traumas, the everything, and we start to see that there's a purpose for all of them. And as we accept that purpose, we go into acceptance and surrender. We go into allowing what is and no longer trying to fight it, and just understanding at some level that there's a higher purpose, there's a higher awareness, consciousness, call it God, call it source, call it divinity, whatever you want to call it, is steering the boat. And then you progress through that. There's a whole level of kind of coping mechanisms that you have to come through. And eventually you start to become aware that you're bigger than just an I. Call it the I am, call it the God consciousness, call it your higher self, call it whatever. And you move through that surrender and you start to become aware that you're bigger than the I, or bigger than this entity, this being, this whatever. And you start to see that you're part of a system, you're part of a collective, a part of something bigger than the I. And you got to kind of sit there and kind of bounce around and start to become consciously aware of what you're actually creating as a being. And once you start to realize that you're part of a collective, you're part of a bigger combined consciousness that's been controlled, that's been given false thoughts, inverted matrices, whatever you want to call it, you start to begin to become aware of the fact that you're part of it, that your beliefs about what's possible, what is, what's happening, what's good, what's bad, whatever, all begins to make you realize that your belief in all those things creates it, along with a whole bunch of other people. Now, we're all talking about moving to this new dimension, this 5D consciousness of an Earth, of a planet, of a collective, combined Gaia, whatever we want to call it, that's going on. But you get to this point where you have to realize you have to start changing your thoughts and your beliefs, and you have to believe in a new reality and a new possibility, even though there's a conscious, what we feel, touch and feely reality of what's going on. We see it in the news, we see it in the newspaper, we see it on TV, we see it in other people, we see it on posts on Facebook, etc., etc., etc. And those things bind us. As a conscious creator, we all of a sudden believe it, and it's like, well, good example. So earlier last week, somebody was going to come travel and see me, and we got looking, and we found out that there were still mandates that said you couldn't travel without being fully V'd, and it just kind of smashed the whole possibility. And I kind of sat inside, and some people would call it struggled with it, but I sat with it, and I consciously said, what the frick is that still going on for? We're in Canada, we're like 90% all this kind of stuff. I'm not personally, but it limits me. But I started looking at it, and I said, no, that doesn't apply anymore. And crazily, yes, today, Tuesday, they announced that they were taking it all away. So in my reality, my choice that no longer served showed up in something happening in the news and making a change. So I'm starting to see it all over the place, where what I choose my reality to be is my reality. And we all have an individual reality. It overlaps in this collective consciousness that we have. Like, roads are made out of pavement, and stoplights are red, and go lights are green, and all these rules that we combine together with to share a reality. But my reality overlaps with other people's realities. So there's this collective thing, and then there's my reality, the part that I don't even talk about with other people, and I builds within me, and my dreams, my hopes, desires. A lot of those things have died for a long time, but I'm now transiting through to a different space of conscious creator. Now, in some of my interactions with other people in this last week, that looks like struggle to people. And I when they started to say that, and a bunch of different people reflected that this was struggle, I looked deeper, and I started to realize that it wasn't struggle. It was my choices. To see something and accept that's all there can be, and then just comply with it, or fit within the system, or follow rules, or find ways around it in the background, just to comply or to survive, just makes me want to vomit. So when I speak about stuff, I speak about grand possibility. I speak about the excitement of living in a world where I'm creating now, and I don't have to comply, and I don't have to be controlled, and I don't have to run with the herd of other people to make them feel good. I'm here as a conscious catalyst. I'm here to suggest new. I'm here to speak about things like sexuality and money and control and other things, and suggest new ways to find our alignment with what our highest purpose is, what we feel. How are we going to create a new reality? There's so many people that are bound by world crises and everything that's said in the news and other things. And I'm choosing consciously to step out of that every day. And this is big new consciousness. Just a few like over a week ago, I was like, holy cow, the whole world's falling apart or whatever. But now I'm like, that's what I was creating. And all I could see was that. So now I've changed it. I said, things are happening. Massive changes are happening every day. And I'm seeing people confused and still going with the old plan. But I choose not to be anymore. And that scares people because that's not comfortable. And then taking conscious awareness and self-responsibility for what's going on and saying, holy shit, I have a part in everything that's happening to me. Oh, the weight is heavy, but the excitement underneath is even more exciting, because it's like, holy fuck, am I part of God now? Is it time for me to thrive and be in conscious creation? Is it time for me to get really self-mastered and stop going with the herd mentality, stop going with blaming outside of ourselves, and start to take responsibility? Say, frick, every day the world's getting better and better. Every day people are awakening. Every day something new and amazing is happening. Every day beautiful new coincidences start to happen. Every day I welcome new people into my life that are a new conscious community that wants these same things. Every day a new reality is forming around me and the people around me. How does that feel? Something's different. Now all of a sudden we're not waiting for somebody to wake up the world or some big event or whatever. It's right here in front of you, in you. What do you want? Do you want to stay stuck and watch things continue to go downhill? No, I want to see everything improve. But sometimes a bulldozer has to come through before you can see the holes in the foundation and start and build. And that's what we're seeing right now, is a bulldozer coming in. So there's fresh new ground to plant our crops, to build our buildings on, to start new. And if you sit with that seed underneath, it's like, oh wow, yeah, everything's breaking down, everything's falling apart, but it's all the things that are rotten. Do I want to build on that? No, I don't want to be stepping on my floor and having my foot fall through to my waist. No, we are now creating. Build your foundation. Build your foundation with people that you can trust and you can love. Build your foundation on good words that talk beautifully about you. Build yourself a community around you that's going to support you in new perspectives and holding you accountable to your words, because you don't even know what's in your shadow. You don't even know what's consciously creating until you get around other people that have broken down those bits, and all of a sudden they can say, hey, you shouldn't use the word should. You say will. You shouldn't say could. Say it is happening. If you start using different words at the root of everything you say, you start to create what some people would call a spell. And some people don't like the word spell because it's with magic and maybe dark or whatever. But every word we say creates a reality. We are casting a spell into the pond around us. Every time we ask something from the universe, we put it out consciously. Think of it like a lily pad, and it goes off into the stream, and you see it bloom, and you see it go down the stream and be in flow and all this kind of thing. But those things have been taken from us so many times. It's like, oh no, you can't go anywhere. You can't travel. You can't do this. You can't do that. You don't deserve that. You don't have enough money. You don't blah, 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 blah. And we have no possibilities left. So where's your possibility? Insert a couple right here, right now, while you're talking. Possibility, I'm going to meet beautiful people in my life that eventually will create divine relationship in my life, will create a supportive community around me, will support loving, unconditional loving, new ways of interacting with people and recreating society in ways that are simple and ease and grace filled. And just cast that out into the water. Have love for yourself. Hey, I love my body. It's not the same as everybody else. It's got a little less hair. It's got a little double chin. It's got a few little things, but I love it. I love it. I don't have to exercise every day to prove myself to people and be thin and be fit. I'm built for comfort and not speed. Because that's what I want. Yeah, I could be all that kind of stuff, but I'm at a point in my life where I want to be happy, to be comfortable, to be in my conscious creation of what I love and not resisting who I am. What are you happy with? I call in all the things I need to support me. I release all the old mechanisms, the jobs, the work, the taxes, the bills, all those kind of things, so that I can be free to speak and consciously create and interact with people and create societies, communities, beauty, all around me. And so I can go around the world and talk about this stuff and plant seeds of possibility with people so that my reality can be different. And then I can share that reality with other people. And the whole of humanity and the whole of the planet changes just by a few people choosing to consciously create. So sometimes I'm going to talk about darkness. Sometimes I'm going to talk about things that are heavy, only because I want to show a way. I want to acknowledge that all those things are part of the human experience, acknowledge those pains and sufferings so that we can cry about them, talk about them, be vulnerable about them, and get them out so that eventually we can start to realize that we're not in a cage anymore. We're not in the dark. We're not having to constantly please someone. We are the light. We are the creator. We are God right here and right now. So start inserting, before you go to bed tonight, some things that could be beautiful for you. Just say half a dozen things that you're grateful for, and it's like, hey, I want to wake up to some new abundance tomorrow. And I'm choosing that right here and right now in this statement. I want to wake up to new people, new community, new possibilities. I want unlimited possibilities to show up in front of me. And I'm creating a new reality. People are going to see it. They're going to be like, holy crap, what's going on? Why are you so excited? And I'm going to start building centers and holding workshops and teaching from this loving place so that more and more people can cooperate in that reality with me. And I can hear their reality and see their perspective and start to see new things and welcome those things into my reality. And then we create communities around those realities. And then eventually one day the old stuff just doesn't exist anymore because everybody looked over the fence and said, holy frick, that's fun. What are those guys doing? Why are they having so much more fun? Why are they smiling? Why are they shining? It starts right here. So don't wait. Insert some possibilities right here and right now. And tell me about them when they show up. But the key is just state them before bed. Don't hang on to them in the morning. Don't try and put more emotion to them. Just say, I would love to have more love in my life. I would love to have beautiful foods in my life. I would love to have joy each and every day. Just see what happens. Just cast it out on that lotus petal on the stream and see what happens. I want to see when the beautiful things start to show up. So come back, tell other people. Hello, Linda. Good evening. We're creating a new reality right here and right now. Let's start it. Let's not wait for anybody else. Let's make it happen right now. So what does Cinda say? The last few days I have been manifesting quickly and it's so amazing. You're talking about it in the here and now. Love this. So yeah, exactly. So just step with it. Start to create it into reality. Create it bigger than just you. Hey, I'd love to see a world that's where government's no longer required. I'd love to see a world where money is no longer required. I would love to see a world where we have a home and freedom and no bills. And then we can consciously choose whatever we want to do. I choose those things. And sometimes I'm going to see stuff that I don't like, and I'm going to talk against it. It doesn't mean I have to resist and fight it and go to war over it, but I'm going to set my energy and say, this is not acceptable. This will not continue. Like I said about the mandates that I was talking about earlier. I stood against it, and today they canceled them. So it's not about accepting. It's not being all soft and fluffy and letting love and light be everything or whatever. Sometimes to be a conscious creator, and especially as a man, we have to say, I accept that it's there. I accept it's real. It has no purpose anymore. And in my energy and in my choice, in that reality, that's not going to continue. And each time I see something, I will speak against it. And I might have some power and I might have some force. And it's like, that mandate is bullshit. And I talked openly about that. Some people might call that struggle. Oh, well, you're not accepting what is and you're not complying and all this kind of stuff. Fuck complying. Fuck allowing stuff that no longer serves anyone to continue. We right here and right now are choosing to make better. And amazing things are going to happen. So stand up to things. It's not about going to war. It's not about going on marches and rallying a whole bunch of people. It's just say, in my conscious reality, this no longer is required. Thank you. Goodbye. And some power is going to come back and some amazingness is going to happen and you're going to be surprised. So try it. Like I said, just put it out there, release it to the universe, Don't think about it again. That's how we consciously create. So I love you. Thank you for all your beautiful comments, Linda and Cinda. And yes, you're exactly right there, Cinda. So love you. Have a good night. It's getting late here, 11:30. So talk more soon. Start creating, baby.